After my daughter-in-law's affair and illegitimate child were exposed, my son became a walking corpse. He wanted a divorce, but I refused. I continued to take care of my daughter-in-law and grandson, providing them with the best food and drink. My daughter-in-law seemed to behave on the surface, but she secretly continued her affair. I bought crab, specifically to nourish my grandson. My son used to be reluctant to eat it, but since he found out that his grandson wasn't his biological child, he treated the boy like the enemy. When he saw me putting crab into his grandson's bowl, he lost it and flipped the table. I'm asking you today, are you choosing me, your biological son, or this pair of cheap mother and son? My daughter-in-law, young Duo, covered her mouth and cried, "Mom, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. I'll always remember your kindness. I don't want to see you and your son fighting over me anymore. I'll just leave this house with How." My son, Peja, enraged, pointed at young Duo and cursed, "Stop pretending. If you had any gratitude towards my family, you wouldn't have committed adultery and had an illegitimate child. Get out now." Young Duo couldn't take it anymore. "Fine, divorce. If it weren't for your mother's sake, do you think I'd even bother with you?" Peja's eyes turned red with anger, and he raised his hand to slap young Duo, but I reacted quickly and stepped forward to block the painful slap. Peja and young Duo were both stunned. My 9-year-old grandson, Pelele, immediately stepped forward and pushed Peja, shouting at him, "Don't hit my grandma, and don't hit my mom." Peja's anger reached its peak, and Lele, in front of him, was a symbol of shame. He raised his hand to hit the child, but I immediately protected my grandson again. My son's heavy slap landed on my back. The pain left me breathless for a moment. Peja, with red eyes, broke down and questioned me, "I'm your own son. This pair of cheap whores, re-bullying me, and you're still helping them." I pulled my son outside to comfort him, but he refused to face me with his swollen eyes, always turning his back to me. I gently patted his back. "Son, you're my biological child, how could I not love you? But what's done is done. We've raised Lele for 9 years and we have feelings for him. Just give Duo a chance, okay? If you get divorced, Mom will have no reason to live." Peja's shoulders trembled, and he was holding back his emotions. After a long while, he asked in a hoarse voice, "Is a facade of family harmony more important than my happiness? This is a disgrace for any man. Can you really bear to see me become a cuckold?" I walked in front of him, and he stubbornly wiped away the tears in his eyes. "Son, Mom is begging you. How about this, give each other a year? You've been together for so many years, just treat it as one last chance for each other. If you still insist on a divorce after a year, Mom won't stop you." Peja reluctantly accepted the suggestion. "Okay, 1 year." I comforted my son and then went to comfort my daughter-in-law, but her heart had already flown away, wanting to live with her lover. I tried to persuade her for a long time before she agreed to try with Peja for another year. After this incident, the family was superficially calm, but in reality, Peja had already treated young Duo like dirt, disgusted even by looking at her. I went back to my hometown for 2 days for a relative's baby's 1-month celebration. My grandson told me that Peja hadn't been home for 2 days. Although young Duo didn't stay out all night, when I was doing laundry, I found 2 unused condoms in her pocket. Young Duo had previously complained to me that my son was allergic to condoms and always had to take birth control pills to prevent pregnancy. So she had been unfaithful again these past 2 days, seeing her lover. I silently put the condoms back in her pocket, pretending I didn't care. Anything. In the evening, I made a table full of delicious food, and my son sat next to me with a stern face. Learning from the previous incident, this time I put a crab in my son's bowl first. Then, I put one in my daughter-in-law's bowl, and the third one for my grandson. Peja ate in silence, head down. Halfway through the meal, he finally spoke. Mom, my company is in its early stages, and I'm having cash flow problems. Can you lend me some money to tide me over? I asked him, how much? About $80,000. It's just a payment for a small client. I'll get it back in a couple of days and give it back to you. I happened to have about $80,000 in my savings account, and I was just about to agree when my daughter-in-law suddenly started sobbing. I quickly asked, concerned, Duo, what's wrong? Young Duo wiped her tears, looking like she didn't want to say it, but she still opened her mouth. His wife is going to sue me, saying that I spent his money before. If I don't pay it back, his wife will come to our house and make a scene, and she'll even go to Lele's school. I frowned and asked, how much money is it? Young Duo stammered, 200,000. I thought seriously for a moment. Duo, how much do you have on you? I only have 100,000, so I'm still short 100,000. I had no choice but to negotiate with my son kindly. Peja, how about this? I'll let Duo use this money first. We can't let that woman come and make a scene, it'll be bad for our family's reputation. Can you find another way for your company's affairs? My son's face darkened instantly, and he slammed his chopsticks on the table, causing the bowls and plates to shake. He was about to explode, looking at me with a very distressed gaze, pointing at young Duo and questioning me, who exactly is your biological child, me or her? My company is just starting out, and I wouldn't have asked you if it wasn't absolutely necessary. This whore, you condone her, eh? Fair, and now you want to use your money to clean up her mess. Tell me, who is your biological child? Of course, you're my biological child. Peja suppressed his emotions and demanded, then fine, give me this money to get through this, and don't help her. I didn't say anything, just because I didn't want to provoke Peja when he was angry. But after dinner, I immediately transferred the money to my daughter-in-law. My daughter-in-law held my hand and thanked me repeatedly. I said to her, if you can just settle down and live a good life, that would be the greatest thanks to me. Young Duo vowed, Mom, I'll listen to you. I've really broken up with him. As soon as she finished speaking, young Duo's phone rang. I noticed that the last 4 digits of the number were 6756. This number was the number of young Duo's lover. I would remember it even if he turned to ashes. Young Duo pretended to be calm and turned off the screen of her phone, smiling and brushing me off. It's just a spam call. I pretended not to see it and smiled faintly. I'm going to wash your underwear. You should take Lele to rest early. I turned and went to the bathroom. I've been hand-washing young Duo's underwear for so many years. Mom, you're so good to me, thank you. Young Duo's voice suddenly came from behind. I turned around and smiled kindly at her, but at that moment when I turned around, my smile had a hint of secretiveness. Later, my son found out that I gave the money to young Duo, and he was so angry that he didn't talk to me for several days. Later, I made him a down jacket by hand, and he finally softened and stopped being angry. In the blink of an eye, 3 months passed. During these 3 months, the relationship between my son and young Duo didn't improve at all. Usually, my son sleeps in the living room. Since young Duo's affair was exposed, the two of them haven't slept in the same room. Suddenly, the flu broke out, and the whole family had a high fever in the middle of the night, except for me. Young Duo came out to find medicine. I was rummaging through the medicine cabinet under the coffee table in the living room, and Peja, lying on the sofa, weakly urged me, Mom, did you find the antipyretic? Young Duo also suddenly said to me, Mom, please get some antipyretics for me and Lele too. We both have a fever of 102 degrees. I looked at the 2 antipyretics left in the box and was in a dilemma. Peja urged me again, Mom, I have a fever of 104 degrees. He was afraid that I wouldn't give him the medicine first. Young Duo was also looking at me with pleading eyes. In the end, I hardened my heart, gritted my teeth, and put the 2 antipyretics in Young Duo's hand. Thank you, Mom. Young Duo took the medicine and left. Peja had a hard time getting up by himself to find medicine. I had no choice but to say to him, there are only 2 antipyretics left, son. I'll get a wet towel to give you a physical cooling first. Peja's face was flushed red from the fever, his eyes were dull, and he looked haggard and lifeless. He was shivering from the cold, gnashing his teeth and breaking down and questioning me, was I picked up from somewhere? Was I? I firmly told him, you're my biological child, don't doubt your mother's love for you. Peja laughed mockingly, biological? Biological? Haha, biological, and you treat me like this? Do you want to see what you've done to me, and what you've done to young Duo and Lele? I didn't know how to explain, so I could only use sincere eyes to tell him again, Mom's love for you has never changed. He collapsed and squatted on the ground, hugging his head and laughing coldly. I felt sorry for him and walked to his side, wanting to pat his shoulder to comfort him, but Peja resisted and avoided me. He looked at me with red eyes in disappointment, and after enduring it for a long time, he finally couldn't help but say to me, forget it, since you're so I eased towards that pair of cheap mother and son, then just pretend that you don't have a son like me in the future. I didn't say anything. Peja slammed the door and left in a fit of anger in the middle of the night. That was it for 2 months. I went to his company to look for him, but he didn't see me. He didn't even come back for the new year, and the relationship between our mother and son reached a crisis. Young Duo has been behaving better lately. She hasn't mentioned the divorce anymore. Because her mother was seriously ill and needed a large sum of money, and her lover was also in trouble at this time, I heard that his wife was keeping a close eye on him. Young Duo hoped that I could help her pay for her mother's medical expenses first, but this time I refused. Not even 2 months later, young Duo's mother died, and her attitude towards me began to change. At first, she put on a stinky face, then she made sarcastic remarks, saying that all the good things I had done for her before were fake, and then she started cursing. She cursed very harshly, saying that my son was a wimp who deserved to have a green hat on his head. That our mother and son were both cheap bastards, that she was only marrying into our family because our ancestors had burned incense. That our family couldn't even find a wife even if they ate shit, and that she was only blind to have been deceived by us. I usually ignored her, letting her go crazy. Until one day, I was holding a child who looked exactly like Lele's while shopping at the supermarket, and she was holding Lele. The 4 of us met eye to eye, and at that moment she was unbelievably stunned. It seemed that some things were about to come to an end. Young Duo stared at Chin Chin next to me for a long time, and then looked at Lele next to her, confirming that the 2 looked exactly alike. She asked me incredulously, where did this child come from? Chin Chin curiously looked up at me and asked, Grandma, who are they? Then he pointed at Lele and asked, why does he look like me? As soon as young Duo heard the word grandma, she was instantly enraged and pointed at my nose, questioning again, what exactly is going on? Where did this child come from? Why does he look like Lele? Her outburst attracted many onlookers, and someone immediately said, isn't that just twins? Young Duo denied it outright, I only gave birth to 1 child. The crowd grew larger and began to discuss, could it be like in the news, where the woman gives birth to 2 children, but they tell her she only gave birth to 1, and then they give the other one to their daughter or relatives, or even sell it secretly. Yeah, that's right, there have been examples of this in the news. These 2 children are obviously twins, the grandma must have secretly hidden one. Young Duo's eyes showed even deeper confusion. She had a natural birth when she gave birth to Lele. All the prenatal checkups and the birth were single births, she firmly said. I only gave birth to one, I'm the mother, how could I not know how many I gave birth to? At this time, someone else said, I heard that if the man has good genes, even if it's different mothers, as long as it's the same father, the children can look extremely similar. Young Duo believed this and stared at me with a fierce gaze, forcing me to answer, is this broken child Paige's illegitimate son? Is he Paige's? But before I could answer her, she herself felt it was impossible, muttering as if trapped in a fog, no, that's not right, why does this child look so much like Lele? Because Lele is not Paige's child, logically speaking, these two children should not look exactly alike. She eagerly asked Chin Chin, who is your father, and who is your mother? Chin Chin was frightened and hugged my waist, looking timidly at young Duo. I calmly told young Duo not to scare the child. Young Duo saw that I kept silent, and she was anxious, like an ant in a hot pot, taking out her phone and calling her lover, honey, come over here, there's a child who looks exactly like our son, what's going on? The other side didn't know what they said to her, but young Duo roared into the phone, if your wife doesn't let you come, you won't come? If she tells you to eat shit, would you eat shit too? I don't care about you, you have to come over here, something big happened. When the onlookers heard that young Duo was a mistress, voices from all directions were pointing fingers at her. This woman isn't decent at all, calling her lover honey in front of her own wife, doesn't she feel ashamed? Looking at this woman's face, she's really mean. She cheated on her own, and she still has the nerve to question the illegitimate son. People can't be too honest, this old lady looks kinder than the daughter-in-law. Young Duo was a little embarrassed by the criticism, and she vented her anger on me, you old hag, I'm going to call the police and arrest you right now. I calmly asked her, on what grounds will you arrest me? She pointed at Chin Chin in exasperation, you brought a child from an unknown source, do you think that's a minor crime? You old hag, see how I deal with you. As soon as she finished speaking, young Duo really called 911 immediately. I didn't stop her, it was better for her to call, so I wouldn't have to call. After calling 911, she immediately called Paige, but Paige hated her to the core. Not only did he not answer her phone, but he also blacklisted her. Young Duo couldn't save face, and she angrily cursed, you're not human, you're all beasts, damn it, you're all treating me like a fool. I'm telling you, I'm not that easy to bully. I took out my phone and called Paige. Paige didn't answer the first time. Paige answered the second time. I said to him, haven't you always been wondering why I'm so good to young Duo even after she did such bad things? Come to Jiaming's supermarket, she led the police, and you'll know the whole truth today. Paige was stunned, unable to recover for a moment, so I hung up the phone first. Young Duo's eyes were red with anger, and she stared at Chin Chin with hostility. 20 minutes later, Paige and that man both arrived. Young Duo stood next to that man, holding his arm, honey, look what's going on. That man was stunned when he saw me, unable to take his eyes off me for a long time. Young Duo realized that she was looking at me with the wrong look, and she asked, concerned, what, do you know her? I spoke first, Tang Xiaohua. Paige couldn't hold back and rushed over to punch Tang Xiaohua. The 50-something-year-old man fell to the ground after only being hit by my son once, sitting on the ground in a mess. Because he felt guilty, he didn't argue with Paige. Young Duo rushed forward angrily and pushed Paige, try moving him again. I'm going to call the police and sue you to death. Slap. Paige immediately gave young Duo a resounding slap. Young Duo covered her face that was hurting from the slap and went crazy. Paige, you wimp, hit me again, and I guarantee you'll break a leg tomorrow. Paige raised his long leg and kicked young Duo hard in the stomach. You bitch, you shameful thing, if you had found a normal man, I wouldn't have looked down on you so much. Young Duo fell more than a meter away, her face contorted in pain. Onlookers stepped forward to persuade Peja, talk it out, don't resort to violence. Someone in the crowd discussed, this woman is so young, why did she find an old man, what was she thinking? That's right, her own man is handsome and tall, it must be because the old man is rich, otherwise why would she sleep with the old man? After Peja controlled his anger, Tang Xiaohua got up from the ground. He said to me with guilt, I didn't know he was your son. If I had known he was your son, I wouldn't have hurt you like this. Peja asked me incredulously, Mom, you know each other? I asked my son calmly, do you remember when I told you before that I had a white moonlight before I married your father? Peja replied, I remember. I continued, I met and fell in love with him when I was young, but later your grandmother didn't agree and forcibly broke us up. This old man who put a green hat on your head is the uncle I told you about before, but he's not my white moonlight anymore. He's just our family's enemy in my eyes now. Young Duo covered her butt and came over, questioning Tang Xiaohua as if the sky had fallen, you and this old hag have a thing going on. Tang Xiaohua stared at me with guilt, my feelings for Xiufan are very pure, very pure. Young Duo didn't believe it and pointed at Qinchin next to me angrily, what about this child, why does he look exactly like our Lele? Tang Xiaohua's gaze only then fell on the two children, and he looked at the two children incredulously for a long time. Peja also asked me incredulously, Mom, what's the situation with this little boy? I said to Peja, this is your son. Your biological son. Peja was thunderstruck and didn't believe it at all. Tang Xiaohua also didn't believe it, and he asked me nervously, was it 9 years ago, the night we were together, you got pregnant? Is this child mine? Tang Xiaohua firmly believed that Lele was his child, and he also firmly believed that we were together 9 years ago, thinking that both children were his. Because he has this gene, he had 2 daughters with his wife, and although they were 3 years apart, the sisters looked like twins. When young Duo heard this, she was jealous and wanted to hit me, you old slut seduced my man, I'm going to beat you to death. Peja kicked her to the side. Although he protected me, he didn't have a good face for me either, and he asked me angrily, you were with this old man? I shook my head and firmly replied to him, I have never been with any man other than your biological father in my life. Peja questioned me again, then what's going on with this child, how do you explain this child? Tang Xiaohua also didn't believe it, and he insisted, I'm sure we had sex that night. I laughed scornfully, we did book a room that day, but I put sleeping pills in the water you drank, the purpose was just to find evidence in your phone while you were asleep, and to install a wiretap on your phone. Didn't you feel dizzy the next day, with no memory of anything? Tang Xiaohua still didn't believe it and asked seriously, I'm sure we had sex that night. I smiled amusedly, after I came out, I called the massage girl you often call for you, maybe you had sex with her. If I had sex with you, how could I deny it the next day and tell you clearly that I wouldn't bother you anymore? Tang Xiaojun recalled the scene that day in detail, and his dejected eyes finally accepted that nothing had happened between me and him from beginning to end. Over the years, he would come to me from time to time to express his deep affection. But I had already seen through him. Back then, we were forced to separate, and he was the first to get married and have children. Now such entanglements only make me feel disgusted. I said to Peja very firmly, Lele and Qinchin are both children of our Pei family, they are both your biological sons. Peja excitedly interrupted me, impossible, what nonsense are you talking about again? How could they be my sons, are you trying to deceive me into making up with young Duo? I stared into Peja's eyes and asked, don't you remember Lin? Peja was stunned, staring at the 2 children incredulously. At this time, the police arrived. Who called the police? What's the specific situation? Young Duo got up from the ground and said excitedly, "Police, she brought a child from somewhere who looks exactly like my son. I'm sure my son is biological, and I only gave birth to one child." Tang sh. Aohua immediately stepped forward to smooth things over. "Sorry police, this is just a family matter, we can handle it, thank you for coming for nothing." Young Duo wasn't happy and went forward to make a scene with Tang Xiaohua. "What do you mean, are you siding with this old woman now? You still think that child is yours, don't you?" Tang Xiaohua was annoyed by her questioning and roared, "Get lost." Young Duo cried loudly and beat him, "Are you worthy of me? I've been sleeping with you wholeheartedly, but you still miss this old woman." I scolded young Duo seriously, "Don't spew nonsense, just because you're cheap doesn't mean I'm cheap too." Peja pressed me, "Mom, what did you mean just now?" I told him the truth. Lele and Chin were both born by Lin. She was pregnant when you got divorced. Young Duo excitedly scolded me, "You're lying. My son is my biological son." Peja asked, half believing, half doubting, "Didn't Lin die a long time ago?" Lin was Peja's first wife. The two were very loving at first, but later Peja fooled around with young Duo, causing the good family to break up. Lin found out she was pregnant with twins after the divorce, but unfortunately, she also had terminal cancer. I advised her to abort the children and actively seek treatment. In order to treat her, I even secretly sold another house. But she refused, saying that terminal treatment wasn't good, and that she was pregnant with twins, that the children were a blessing, that she wanted to continue life, so she insisted on giving birth to the children. At that time, young Duo had also just given birth to a child, so I had the idea of swapping the two children. I told my son, Lin gave birth to the children before she died, you can get a paternity test if you don't believe it, these two children are 100% yours. Young Duo questioned me frantically, "You old hag, what nonsense are you talking about? If these are Lin's children, where is my child? Where did you take my child?" I stared at young Duo's annoyed look and asked back, "Don't you remember? 9 years ago, I brought back a child, saying that I picked it up outside, and you immediately sent that child to the orphanage. Maybe your biological son is in the orphanage now." Young Duo felt like she had been struck by lightning and almost couldn't catch her breath. She calmed down for a few seconds, cried frantically and blamed, "It must be you, you old hag, who deliberately switched the children. You switched the baby clothes and diapers on purpose to make me get it wrong, didn't you?" Of course, I wouldn't admit it, and said lightly, "I think you're out of your mind. At that time, I didn't know that the child you gave birth to was an illegitimate child. How could I have switched them? You mistakenly sent your own biological son to the orphanage. This is your retribution." In fact, the day before young Duo gave birth, I accidentally overheard her talking to Tang Xiaohua, saying, "Now I'm married, and I've found your son a father too. I know you can't get a divorce because of your family's interests, but as long as you have me in your heart, I'll be satisfied with you giving us living expenses every month." At that time, Lin's child had just been born, and I decided to switch the two children. Young Duo rushed towards me excitedly, "I'm going to kill you, I'm going to kill you." The police stopped her. Peja asked me in confusion, "Why didn't you tell me earlier? Why did you only tell me now that Lele is my biological son?" I looked at Tang Xiaohua, "Because it wasn't time yet, today is the best time to reveal the truth." More and more people gathered around, discussing and even taking videos and posting them online. "Oh my god, this mother-in-law is so tolerant, I would have lost my temper and settled the score with them long ago. The old man is really shameless, he must not have been able to get the old one, so he harassed daughter-in-law to discuss their family. The woman is also suffering the consequences of her own actions. If the son isn't hers, she doesn't even know if her own son is dead or alive. This is what happens when you court death." Tang Xiaohua felt ashamed. After learning that the two sons weren't his, he made an excuse to slip away. "This is your family matter, I'm an outsider, so I won't get involved." A woman laughed at him. You're still an outsider. You know you're an outsider too. You're an outsider who slept with someone's wife for so many years. These words made Tang Xiaohua lose face, and he lowered his head to leave. I called out to him, if you leave, who will the police arrest and imprison? Tang Xiaohua turned around and looked at me in shock. The police asked me, what exactly is going on? I pointed at Tang Xiaohua and said righteously, I want to report Tang Xiaohua for killing Pei Yi in a car accident 12 years ago. Pei Yi was my husband. Although we were married through our parents' arrangement, our relationship grew better and better after marriage. I never thought he would die at Tang Xiaohua's hands. Tang Xiaohua's eyes trembled, but he had good mental qualities and didn't reveal a trace of guilt. Xiufan, what nonsense are you talking about? Do you think I'm that kind of person in your heart? The way he looked at me still held a hint of past affection. I met his gaze, dismantling him word by word. 9 years ago, I went to the cemetery to visit Pei Yi, and I happened to see you. I heard you say with my own ears that you drove a car with a fake license plate and killed Pei Yi. You thought that as long as he died, I could let go of my moral constraints and rekindle our relationship. But you didn't expect that once a chance is missed, it's missed. Even if he died, I wouldn't come back to you. Don't you think you're ridiculous? On one hand, you can't forget your youthful sweetheart, and on the other hand, your wife stays home while you re with others. You're not single-minded since you still have fantasies about me, but you've been cheating for years. None of that matters to me anymore. What matters most is that you have to pay for my husband's life. I pulled out my phone and found a video taken years ago with a camera of Tang Xiaohua speaking. Pei Yi loved photography, so every time I visited him, I would take a lot of pictures to share with him. It was because of this habit that I recorded what Tang Xiaohua said back then. I showed the police the video, and a hint of panic finally appeared in Tang Xiaohua's eyes. The police compared the person in the video to Tang Xiaohua and confirmed it was him. This case was investigated for a long time back then, because there weren't many surveillance cameras on the road at that time, and he happened to avoid all the blind spots, so the hit-and-run driver was never found. Tang Xiaohua pretended to be calm and denied it. I was just saying things out of anger. I was deliberately trying to provoke him. I didn't do it. I gave him a mocking smile. I guessed you would deny it, so I didn't expose you back then. I know you too well. You can kill one person and kill a second, or even do other bad things. So being nice to young Duo was just to make her lower her guard. Later, I put a wiretap on her phone and a pinhole camera in her car. I have a clear record of how you made your fortune and how you developed your network. According to the current laws, you and young Duo can be sentenced to death for selling illegal goods. I took my phone back from the police, found the evidence I had prepared, and opened it for the police to see. Young Duo denied it in a panic. I didn't do anything. This old hag is framing me. Tang Xiaohua stared at me for a long time without saying a word. I think he must regret being so obsessed with me. There were too many onlookers, which seriously affected the normal operation of the supermarket. All around were voices cursing Tang Xiaohua and young Duo. Good heavens, these vicious people are so cruel. They've done so many bad things. These evil people should be struck by lightning. This woman is not content at all. If she were a little more content, she would have a good life finding a good family like that. This woman has no conscience. The police took us all back to the police station for further questioning. At this time, I didn't know that this matter was causing a sensation on the internet. After arriving at the police station, the police read all the evidence and immediately put silver handcuffs on Tang Xiaohua. He knew he couldn't escape and didn't argue anymore. He insisted on asking me, "You didn't expose it all these years, was it to save your grandson?" He guessed right. When Lele was 5 years old, he developed chronic nephritis and needed a kidney transplant. Mayan Peija's and Yang Duoduo's blood types didn't match. Yang Duoduo told Tang Xiaohua about this. Tang Xiaohua always thought that Lele was his own son, so he secretly did a blood type match. Unexpectedly, Tang Xiaohua's blood type matched Lele's, and he anonymously performed a kidney donation. I didn't deny it and told Tang Xiaohua bluntly, "Yes, it's what you think." Tang Xiaohua gave a self-deprecating cold laugh, "So I was the big fool, raising someone else's son for so long." Young Duoduo cried for a while, roaring at me hoarsely, "You old bitch, where's my son? Where's my son? If you don't give my son back to me, I won't let you go even as a ghost." I smiled sarcastically, "I'll wait for you to become a ghost." The police routinely asked Yang Duoduo, "When did you and Tang Xiaohua get together?" Yang Duoduo calmed down and began to slowly explain, "When I was in college, my family was poor and couldn't afford tuition. He supported me, so we've been together ever since. I didn't even know that this old hag was his sweetheart. I didn't know anything." She cried and begged the police, "I'll confess whatever you want me to confess. Please help me find my son. My son was thrown away by that bitch. She also broke the law. Arrest her quickly." The police asked, "That child, do you know where he is?" I said with a clear conscience, "She sent her son to the orphanage herself back then. The orphanage should have records. A few years ago, I went to the orphanage to see the child. I heard that he had leukemia. I don't know if he's still alive. You can go and see." Young Duoduo glared at me like she wanted to eat me. "Tan Xiufan, I'm going to kill you. You poisonous woman, you've ruined us all. You'll die a horrible death. You'll be struck by lightning." I looked at her calmly, "It's you who's going to die a horrible death now." She was so emotional that she was about to rush out and beat me to death. The police detained Yang Duoduo and Tang Xiaohua. There was nothing more involving me and Peja. So we went back first. The first thing Peja did was take the two children to do a paternity test. Later, the paternity report showed that Lele and Chinchin were both his biological children. He immediately hugged the two children and burst into tears, telling Lele and Chinchin again and again, I'm sorry, it's Dad who didn't fulfill his responsibilities." He also knelt down to me and apologized, "I'm sorry, Mom, I misunderstood you. I shouldn't have doubted your love for your son." I helped him up and hugged him gently, "It's okay, as long as we have a good family in the future." Lele, after experiencing such a big event, had closed himself off. I took him to see a psychologist for a while before he got better. Chinchin was raised by a nanny since he was a child and had no feelings for Peja. The relationship between the father and sons was very polite and distant. Later, with my slow adjustment, the relationship between the father and sons slowly improved. Half a year later, Tang Xiaohua and Yang Duoduo were sentenced to death. The day before they were executed, she wanted to see Lele. After all, she raised Lele as her own son and had feelings for him. I couldn't make this decision for Lele, so I told Lele about it. Lele hesitated again and again and said, "I'll go see her." I sent Lele over. Lele was inside, and I was outside behind the transparent glass. The prison life during this period made Yang Duoduo look like a completely different person. She approached Lele seemingly peacefully and smiled at him, "Are you still willing to recognize me as your mom?" Lele remained silent with a heavy heart. Young Duoduo smiled bitterly, "I raised you, I'm your only mom. If you remember my kindness, go to the orphanage and help me find my son. That will be your way of repaying me. If you don't help me find my son, if you don't help him, I won't let you go even as a ghost. Remember that." Lele mustered up his courage. He's dead. Young Duo suddenly went crazy, like a lion wanting to bite Lele to death. You little beast, who are you saying is dead? I'll kill you right now. The staff immediately held young Duo down. Lele wasn't scared, he just stood there crying. He stared at the crazy young Duo and said, "Great, I don't have to have any more obsessions with you. It wasn't you who raised me, it was Grandma who raised me." Just as Lele said, after young Duo died, he completely forgot about young Duo. Every weekend, I would take the brothers to visit their biological mother's grave. The brothers' relationship became better and better, Paige became more and more filial to me, the company became more and more prosperous, and the family's life became more and more prosperous.